Hey guys, it's Matt with Tuna Garage, and today we're going to be installing this Hux Racing shifter into my MR2 Turbo. So right out of the box, you can just look at this and you can tell how solid the construction is. This did start out as a shifter box for an Acura RSX that went on to get modified by Eric over at Hux Racing. But you can tell by the quality that everything has been done, perfectly. The way everything moves around when you're just kind of playing with it while it's open like this, everything moves around super smooth. There's no contact being made. It just feels really nice. I mean, I can't wait to have this thing in my car. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to actually remove all the little bolts that hold in the center console. If you have one of the turbo boxes, you want to make sure you get the 4 bolts inside that hold that to the firewall and to the console. Then you want to look around, you want to make sure that you have nothing else attached to this centerpiece. So I'm going to have to actually relocate my electronic boost controller, take out the shift knob, make it so everything just kind of comes up as one piece so you aren't losing bolts, you aren't having to worry about the stuff falling all over the floor, losing things under the seats. So once you've removed the center console, you'll be faced with the stock shifter assembly. It's going to be this giant silver tub right here. To remove it, what you want to do is you want to make sure you get these, and those 12 millimeters out. You want to make sure to remove the little nut that's inside of the shifter stock itself, and then remove the little clip right here that's holding this last cable on here, and the whole thing should be able to just come up and pull out. Now that everything is out, the old cables are free right here. I like to clean up everything to make sure that when it goes back together, it's got a nice clean surface. So I made sure that I wipe down everything. Just give it a nice clean little swab. Just where new stuff is going to be going. Just helps it make better contact so that everything stays together longer. So I've got everything cleaned up. I just kind of wiped down the cables. I wiped down this red surface right here where the old shifter assembly was. And right now I'm actually just test fitting to make sure that all of the holes line up. As you can see, everything is, damn near perfect. Thank you, Hux. It also comes with new hardware, which is really nice, so we get to use nice new bolts and make everything shiny and pretty looking. But next thing we have to do is we actually have to swap the sides of these cables. So this one is actually going to go over on the far right side now, and this one right here is actually going to hook up to the little screw that's already been mounted right here on this joint, which will allow us to actually do our shifts and everything like that, to get everything working properly. So to do that, you want to take up this 10 millimeter bolt right here, and then this whole bracket just kind of comes up. What you can do with that is just hold it up, and then you can get rid of it. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm going to see if I can try and reuse it once I put the cables on the other sides and just twist them around, and then put this back down just so it holds everything in place, keeps everything nice and neat and whatnot. And then these should be on the correct sides, and then we'll start by loosely fitting everything up and seeing where everything goes. Alright, so after getting just the 4 little Allen bolts supplied by Hux, just kind of mounted down so the thing's a little bit sturdy, everything's just kind of hand tight, and then making sure that these are all going to be the right length, making sure that everything will line up properly. I have this, and this will clip off and everything like that. We can actually start a little bit of the modification that needs to be done. So you want to cut off this little piece of like black silicone that covers this nut that actually holds this old ball joint in place, where it actually went in on the side of the shifter stock, on like any of the aftermarket or stock shifters, because what we're going to be doing is you're actually going to be taking this thing off right here and screwing in this new one that's going to be going on the other side, and it should screw directly into the cable, and then it actually comes with a little like a little locking nut that you can screw back and forth just to make sure that everything fits to the right length. And then we're going to take off this clip and the little plastic washer right there, and we're going to slide this on and make sure everything is nice and sturdy. And then I'll just kind of go through gears lightly to make sure that everything is kind of clunking into place properly. And then we'll start getting everything tightened down, and we'll take it for a spin. Alright, so after cutting off just a little piece of silicone, it's nothing big, it can come off with just a razor blade or anything like that. This is a little 10mm jam nut right here, and then you can just put like a pair of vice grips, just not super tight because you don't want to ruin the threads inside. You can break that nut loose, which I've already done, and then it just comes loose like that, and then this whole piece will just actually come out. And this is basically what is on the shifter assembly already right there that we will be taking off to screw into here, and then we will go from there. So while taking off the little the plastic washer, the little fitting that's on here, and the little metal clips that go on both sides, be very careful because I already lost one of these and one of these down into the pit of doom, so I had to go searching for those. But now that everything is kind of on, this is the new head that is that screws into the old cable, and that will essentially, you know, it'll go right here, and then it'll obviously, you know, get clipped in down here first, and then this one will actually go, you know, right up here, and it'll slide on like that, and that's essentially what's going to be your shifter assembly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this stuff back off. I'm going to get these routed up through the little brackets right here, put the little retaining clips back in, that should just go right down in there just like normal. Get these cables all situated and everything like that, that way they sit nice and easy. Probably kind of close to back to where they were beforehand, because I will be reusing the center console and putting it all back on top of here. Just so they sit nice and good and they don't get cut by this little stud that's coming up out of here. And then we'll tighten everything down, and hopefully I'll be able to just take it right out on the road, and I'll show you guys how it shifts. Guys, so I got all 4 bolts tightened down. The shifter assembly is nice and stuck. This is pretty much, I got the adjustment right where I needed it to be. So I just need to tighten down that jam nut right there. I've got all the little clips, all the little plastic washers back in place. The cables are in place. These are in place right here. What you do have to do, which I noticed a little bit, if you cut up some of this, you know, it's like factory insulation type stuff right here, you know, and you just kind of press down on the metal a little bit. You know, I used a torch, and then I used a mallet, and I just kind of tapped on this thing until it kind of gave it, like, you know, a nice like concave shape or whatever. It helps with the angle because of the way that this cable has to kind of run down and then angle back up in order to get to where it connects here. But now that everything is moderately tight, you know, you can see that everything works, and this is without me pressing in the clutch, obviously, so it's not as smooth as it normally will be. But everything works, and you can hear it. You can hear it chunk into reverse. You can hear it first, second, third, fourth, fifth, reverse. So everything works right there. The cables are looking nice and good. They're staying nice and tight. I'm definitely gonna get that bracket to just put right back on here, just because I think it'll make it look a little bit nicer. And then it's just kind of reassembling the center console and everything like that. I'm going to take out the shifts around, just because this takes up a lot of room. It's kind of cumbersome. But if you're kind of going for that more race car, you know, shifter, and you want to get the Hux Racing shifter, it's definitely the way to go. Plus, I mean, just look at it. It's definitely beautiful. And then I'm going to relocate my electronic boost controller somewhere, maybe over on top of the clamshell, and we'll get everything tied up, get everything bolted back down, make sure everything's nice and tight a couple more times, lock everything into place, and then I'll take you guys for a little cruise, and we'll see how it drives. All right, guys, everything is done. What I did is I kind of reshaped the trim piece. I actually cut, it normally starts going over right about here. So what I did is I actually cut out a section down to where the clip is right there and over there. Cut out this whole section, and then actually, because this cable and this cable actually come up farther than I expected, I was trying to get it to like just cover right there, but because this cable actually comes up a little bit higher, what I did is I just tried to symmetrically cut out this whole section right here, So this is just open now, which I'm not too concerned about because everything down there is nice and shiny and polished, so it actually looks pretty nice. Plus you can kind of like look down in there and you can see the whole harness going along the sides, and you can see all the mechanism and everything like that like goes into you know, all this and whatnot. But just a little quick, you know, through each gear, you know, you got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and reverse. No contact or anything like that. Everything works great. It feels awesome. It's super sturdy. I have the little bolts on either side of here for the adjustments all tied down, so we're all set to go with that. But everything is so nice. It's super sturdy. You know, it is a nice piece of equipment. Expensive, but you know, I think it's worth it. And I think it'll look great in the car, you know, with my Tom's Racing steering wheel. And you know, I have to get the electronic boost controller relocated somewhere around here, so I'll probably figure that out next. Just got to put the console box back up in here, but other than that, we are all set to go, and then I'll take it for a spin. So driving around the neighborhood, the shifter is all working. It's great. It's awesome. It's very stiff. It's very sturdy. There's no play, which is exactly how I like to have it. I'm gonna let the car warm up a little bit before I kind of get on it, and then I will let you guys know how it goes. All right, everything is tightened down. Everything has been double checked. The car's been driven. It drives awesome. Huge shout out and thanks to Eric Hux and Renee Hux of Hux Racing for the awesome products, the awesome customer service. You know, you guys are great. Eric, your designs are pretty much flawless. The engineering behind it is amazing. You know, Renee, you were always there to answer the questions for me and help me through it. But thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, huxracing.com. Great place to go to get some of the best suspension components, driveline components, shifter assemblies if you drive an SW20 MR2, and lots more. He's a great fabricator, a great engineer. I highly recommend him. Thanks, guys. See you later.